Hello dear student, and I'm so happy to see you again, or to watch it again, not see it. Great, so a new lesson, which is D. I'm going to work with you on a video, on a story, a new tale, new events, new verbs, new situation. So please, I'm begging you to watch it and to watch it in depth in order to understand how stories are made up and to enrich your vocabulary. It means you are going to get new words, to get new adjectives, verbs, adverbs, in order to be able later to speak English in a way which will be very, very attractive and a little bit native. Why not? So, the sequence of now is say it in writing. Say it in writing. It means you are going to watch, and with me we are going to interact on the events of the story you have watched. Is it okay? So, the story is something you already watched in French and in Arabic, and maybe some of you have watched it in English. It is Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood. Yes, so this is the tale. Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood is القبعة الحمراء أو الطفلة بالقبعة الحمراء, petit chaperon rouge. So please have a good watch. Have a good watch.
This is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near a big forest. Her grandmother had made her a beautiful red cloak with a big red hood, which she wore every time she went outside. And so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said,
"Grandma isn't feeling very well. Will you take this basket of food through the forest to her cottage?"
Yes, Mother.
said Little Red Riding Hood.
I sure would love to see Grandma.
She put on her red cloak and she pulled up her red hood and she took the basket of food into the forest.
Remember,
Her mother called after her.
don't talk to any strangers along the way.
I won't.
Little Red Riding Hood promised, and she skipped down the path and into the woods. Little Red Riding Hood did not have to worry about getting lost in the forest because she knew the way to Grandma's house very well. But along the way, she saw some beautiful wild flowers growing near the path.
I bet Grandma would really love these.
She said to herself, and she stopped to pick a few.
Hello, little girl,
Said a deep, growling voice from behind her. Little Red Riding Hood was very startled. She spun around and saw a big bad wolf standing in the shadows between two trees.
Hello.
Said Little Red Riding Hood. She didn't know that the wolf was bad, and she had already forgotten her mother's words about talking to strangers.
where are you going on this fine day?
Asked the big bad wolf.
I'm going to my Grandma's cottage on the other side of the forest.
Said Little Red Riding Hood.
She isn't feeling very well, so I'm bringing her this basket of food and these flowers.
What a sweet girl you are,
Said the big bad wolf. He smiled and showed his mouthful of sharp teeth. The big bad wolf was quite hungry, and he was not interested in the basket of food.
I had better be going.
Said Little Red Riding Hood.
Bye.
And she skipped off down the path. The big bad wolf's stomach grumbled and growled with hunger, and suddenly he had an idea. As quick as he could, he ran through the forest all the way to Grandma's cottage. The sneaky wolf opened the door very quietly and found Grandma asleep in her bed. He picked up the old woman opened his great big mouth and he swallowed poor Grandma in one gulp. Then the big bad wolf climbed into the bed and pulled the blanket up to his chin. He put on Grandma's glasses and her nightcap, and he waited for the little girl to arrive with her flowers and basket of food. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage, she opened the door quietly and found Grandma lying in bed.
Hello, Grandma.
She said,
Mother told me you weren't feeling well, so I brought some food and some flowers. Do you like them?
What a sweet little girl you are.
said the wolf in his fake grandma voice.
Come closer, my dear.
Little Red Riding Hood took a step closer and she noticed that something looked a little different about Grandma.
My,
She said,
what big eyes you have, Grandma.
All the better to see you with.
said the big bad wolf.
Come closer, my dear.
Little Red Riding Hood took another step closer to the bed.
My,
She said,
what big ears you have, Grandma.
All the better to hear you with.
replied the wolf.
Come closer, my dear.
Little Red Riding Hood took one more step closer.
My, what big teeth you have, Grandma.
She said in surprise.
All the better to eat you with.
Growled the big bad wolf. He jumped out of the bed, and as he opened his great big mouth, Little Red Riding Hood shrieked and tried to run, but the hungry wolf grabbed her up and swallowed Little Red Riding Hood in just one gulp. Outside the cottage, a woodsman happened to be walking through the forest when he heard Little Red Riding Hood's shriek of surprise. He hurried inside and he saw the wolf with his huge round belly. The woodsman grabbed the big bad wolf, turned him upside down and shook him by his feet. Little Red Riding Hood came tumbling out of the wolf's mouth and Grandma followed. The three of them chased the big bad wolf out of the cottage, out of the forest and over the hill. The big bad wolf ran for his life and was never seen again. Little Red Riding Hood learned her lesson and she never, ever talked to strangers again. The end.
Remember to please like the video and subscribe to our channel so you can stay updated on all our new videos. Bye!
I hope you have had a good watch, especially with little, yes, I'm missing here something. Now, little Red Riding Hood. The Little Red Riding Hood. So, what happened? What happened? To whom? Very good. So we're talking about Little Red Riding Hood. Hood is the cloth, yeah? Hood is the cloth whose color is red. Yes, I'm talking about the little girl, she was wearing a hood. She was riding hood. She was riding hood. Whose color was red. Whose color was red. And everyone in the village know her wear that cloth. And she was beloved, of course. Great. So, what happened first? Very good. The mother, yes, the mother or a mother, the mother asked who? Asked the Little Red Riding Hood what? Very good. Take some food to her grandma. To take some food to her grandma. Grandma, who was living, yes, living by what? By the river. By the river in the woods. You see that there's something similar between Snow White and Little Red Riding Hood. All girls Yes, all girls, all happened in the past, and all the events happened in the woods or in the what? In the forest. Yes, what happened? She has gone. We're not going to write everything. We're going to summarize, to take out what is necessary, relevant, good, the roots. Then, very good. On her way, she what? She, on her way to her grandma or granny, she picked up some flowers. Some flowers. Yes? Some flowers. Yeah. She wanted to make her grandma very happy. Food and flower. Suddenly what happened? A deep growling, what? Wolf appeared. A deep growling wolf appeared. And what did the wolf do? Yes, trapped. Yes, appeared and trapped who? Trapped the little girl. The little girl. Trapping the little girl. Yes. After that, the wolf, what did the wolf do? The wolf had gone before her to the house of who? Of the grandma. To swallow her. Oh my God. The wolf has hurt. The wolf had hurt the grandma, swallowed her, and landed on her back, pretending he's what? Pretending it was the grandma. When the little girl arrived, the wolf did what? The wolf ate her too. See that the wolf has eaten two members from the same family. Do you know why? Because the little girl was so naive, and she didn't obey the advice of her mother. You see that she called after her, don't talk to anybody on your way to a grandma. But she didn't obey her mother. Fortunately, the hunter was passing through that house, and he saved the family. He saved the family. So you see that, dear boys and girls? Of course it is a tale. Yes, it's only a tale. But we can extract a moral lesson. What is it? It is obey. Our parents what? Obey our parents. our parents' advice. Do you know why I say that, or I'm saying that? Because if the little Red Riding Hood obeyed her mother's advice, she wouldn't be eaten by the wolf, and even her grandma wouldn't be eaten by the wolf. That's why our parents are a gift from God. We have to obey them. Thank you very much, dear students, for following me in that motivation and enthusiasm, and see you in the next lesson, God willing, and goodbye.
شكرا على المشاهدة. لا تنسوا الاشتراك في القناة، الضغط على الجرس، الإعجاب بالفيديو.